Evening, everybody. How's it going? Here we are, Tuesday before Thanksgiving, for another episode of Flawed Man of God. I am your host, Stuart Davis, a humble parishioner at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm not a pastor, I'm not a biblical scholar, and I haven't been to seminary. I'm not here to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. What I'm here to do is talk about God, talk about Jesus, talk about the Holy Spirit, talking about Christianity, talk about the Bible, talk about a wide variety of different topics, issues, and current events, and give you my perspective on them. One that I think is reflective of your average Christian guy. I've been a Christian all my life, 40 years, non denominational Protestant. Don't subscribe to any particular doctrine or denomination. I'm just in the Word daily, trying to do it better each and every day. Sometimes I'll get it right, many times I'll get it wrong. But no matter what, if you're tuning in here and if you're listening to me, watching me stream, whatever, you're going to be getting my honest opinions, my honest takes on whatever it is that we're discussing. So, if you're somebody who is interested in learning more about Christianity, maybe you're not a Christian yet, but you're searching for meaning in all of this, wondering what it's all about. Maybe there's a small voice in the back of your mind wondering if there's more to life than just your existence here on earth. Then welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. And hopefully, what I'm presenting to you is something that is a setting maybe that you are kind of looking for, right? Maybe maybe you don't want to see the professionals at it at work. Not to say that they are not trustworthy, but maybe that's you just don't feel comfortable like that. Maybe you're looking more for somebody who isn't getting paid, right? isn't isn't that isn't their trade. Maybe you want to hear it from somebody who is in the faith, somebody sitting right next to you in the pew, and can give you whatever their insights are on however long they've been a part of it. Um, and if so, that should be what you'll get with this. Um, Again, very, very amateur stream. I am a lay person through and through. I am not a professional by any means. But what I do offer is a very comfortable, relaxed setting where you can learn through my own eyes and through the eyes of other folks who contribute to this show. And hopefully, what you get out of this will propel you onto salvation and a path closer and closer to Christ. If you are already a Christian and you just want to participate in Christian topics, discussions, what have you, welcome as well. Glad to have you here too. We run this very similar to a Wednesday night study group or a Sunday school. Again, very, very community oriented. Very want to be as tight knit as possible on this, where we care about you and what you have to say. My look, I say this a lot. I'm the mouthpiece on here, but I'm not the only person who can speak to what Scripture says. I'm not the only person out there who has some sort of opinion on faith. There are people out there much smarter than me. One of them might be you. So whether you are somebody who is not uh, in the faith at all and just learning, or somebody who, like I said, knows more than me, maybe a little bit more mature in their faith than I am, um, I encourage you to be part of the chat. I want you to jump in there and be part of whatever it is that we're discussing. Most of the time we're reading through the Bible. It's going to be our project for the foreseeable future. We're still in Psalms. We still got a long way to go. And that'll take us much past the calendar year. But I encourage all of y'all to be in part of the chat. Tell me what you agree with what I say. Tell me what you disagree with. What am I doing right and what am I doing wrong? What is it that we're talking about that you might have a unique experience about? Maybe you have some special insights or knowledge. Maybe you've got a question. Maybe you're wondering why other people think what we're talking about means something else. Whatever it is, be part of the chat. Be part of the chat. You guys make this show better, and I encourage you to participate. We've got a great group of folks who tune in and night out. I want you to be one of them. And with that said, we can get into the show. Sorry, guys. Sometimes I think better, and maybe this is just the ADHD in me. Of course, I know it is the ADHD in me. When I'm doing something else with my hands, helps me focus a little bit better. How do you guys you guys have that at all? Does that work with you guys the way it works with me? I got just got some new phone cases in, and I was putting them on while I was getting this. As we sail towards Thanksgiving. Hopefully you guys are doing pretty good. Hopefully maybe you are enjoying some safe travels. Safe travels. This is the time of the year where there's a lot of traveling going on. There's a lot of people on the road. There's a lot of people making poor decisions on the road, or poor decisions and then getting on the road. I don't want any of you guys to be making those poor decisions or to be getting caught up with those folks making poor decisions. It's bad. So be careful out there. Just be vigilant and enjoy this holiday time. I know that some folks, this is also a time of the year where families are getting together, and not everybody has a great family dynamic. If that's the case, look, I've been there, not so much with my immediate family, but my extended family. I've experienced a lot of strife around this time of the year where people could be getting together and don't. There's a lot of harsh feelings, but to all of you guys, look, stay hopeful out there. You're never alone. God's always with you, and but still try to be part. This is a good time. It's always a good time to count your blessings, but particularly around this time of the year, we try to make an effort to stop and take stock of all the things that we should be thankful for. And one of those things we should be thankful for is salvation. We don't, and nowhere is it more present than, I think, Christmas and Easter. One, the arrival of the Messiah when we celebrate his birth, and his sacrifice on Easter, or his sacrifice on Good Friday, and his defeat of death on Easter Sunday. But what that entails embodies so much of what we believe as Christians, and but Thanksgiving, though it is very kind of secular in its practice, we can use it. We can obviously use it to be thankful. Always be thankful. Always count your blessings, but maybe use this time to sit back and reflect. So, once again, at my house, just because we're well set up for it, we will be hosting, and so I'm not going anywhere except for maybe on errands. But please, guys, be safe. Be safe out there. And with that said, we're going to get into it tonight. I don't know. We went through some kind of long Psalms last night. No, you're not waving. You're not waving to the camera. My son is here. Just say what you need to say. They're not going to hear you. Oh, my son says hi. My son says hi. They had their last day of school today, and so they get this. So they're off for the rest of the week. So they're getting to, or my son specifically is getting to stay up a little bit extra tonight and hanging out with me up in the man cave, and just just glad to get that. Somebody in chat said hi back, Brenda. It's Brenda. Um, and one of the other guys' son said hello as well. So good, good. It's good that families getting involved. It's good fam. I like it when he gets to listen in on some of the stuff. The first time he really listened in on one of my episodes, it was it was one of my better streams. It was back in we were in Exodus, and um it was Moses coming down from Mount Sinai and seeing um the stupidity that is the Israelites. And I went on this long rant. I'm tough on the Israelites because of what I say is the Israelites had the unique blessing, among other things, um, of seeing God in action in a very direct, overt way. Right? We operate very much as Christians in our time, very much in a faith, and we see miracles, um, maybe call it lowercase miracles, right? Maybe more personal things, but nothing. It, to me, nothing so overt as being led out of captivity after several plagues, after Passover, away from a foreign power in which your leader, the emissary of God, or the chosen emissary of God, parts water across a sea and you walk through it, right? Things like that. The pillar in the sky as they're going through things, very like you. It's much more tangible, it feels like. And even though God is is there in that presence, it takes them no time to do blatant disrespectful and sinful things, and they still complain. Yeah, Brenda, yeah, the you are a stiff-necked people. Yeah, you're a stubborn and stiff-necked people, as he said many times, um, many times throughout the 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 Exodus. And after they settle in Israel, especially during the time of the judges and after Solomon. It's a lot of, yeah, we see the miracles of God. He defeats our enemies. He performs these amazing feats right in front of for everybody to see, right? It's not up for debate. And yet they still, not only do they complain, Brenda, but I mean they're making idols and they're worshiping other. These are your gods, right? Aaron, what a and one of maybe the either most idiotic or what's the word I'm thinking of? Absent-minded efforts of leadership and minding the store, holding down the fort while Moses is up communing with God, um, allows them to do this. In fact, instructs them to do this. Melt down the gold and jewelry and make um, baby cows to worship, hamburger worship. So anyway, when we got to that part, my son's over there. He's getting ready for bed because we've got a little bed thing set up over there. He's getting ready for bed, and he's just listening. And I'm going on this huge rant. I mean, more so like I could kind of build up from where here, but it's very similar. I'm talking about how just dumb it is, and I pick on the Israelites. Pick on the Israelites because I wish I'd been there during that time. I would, and I feel like I would be better than the majority of them. I feel like I would be more responsible, but perhaps not. Perhaps not. I still sin. I have a boatload of faith. I have lots of faith, but I still have moments where I each and every day, um, where I screw up, right? But I really don't think I would find myself worshiping um, a baby cow. I'm not worshiping a golden calf. You can make the argument that we are slaves to our vices, are the vices that we just can't seem to kick, the sins that we struggle the most with, and those are our idols, things that separate us from God. But I think it's one thing to struggle with something; it's another thing to just say, "Yeah, let's just get all pretense out of the way and just worship it." Um, but still, um, we can only be but so harsh because a lot of things the Israelites do, we can point at them and we can say, "How can you be so stupid? How can you do all this stuff?" And yet at the same time, we are we are far from perfect ourselves. We're far from perfect ourselves. Anyway, so yeah, he's here listening to this, and he's going to get a little bit different tone of this because they don't really go over Psalms all that much. At least I don't remember as a kid going over Psalms all that much in Sunday school. We learned about much different things. We were learning about stories of Jesus or Daniel or Peter or Paul or Joshua, Noah, Moses, all these folks. You learn about them, but you don't really go over the Psalms. Some of them you do. There's just so daggone many of them. Um, and and one of the things that and it's different for me going through this because they're beautiful. When I'm reading them aloud, more so than just reading them in my head, when I'm reading them aloud and reflecting on them, maybe more so because I'm talking it through with an audience, maybe there's a greater appreciation. There's a greater appreciation over what I'm going over with, which is unlike uh, not unlike many of the other readings that I've done. This is fulfilling for me. I'm not again, this is a hobby for me. This is not and and some of this is outreach to and service to folks, but there's a little bit of selfishness in too because I get something out of this. I get stuff out of it, out of y'all's comments. I get stuff out of just reading it out loud and interacting and trying to explain it from my standpoint. So we've gone through, we'll have Psalms 20 and 21. No, wait, Psalms 19 and 20 tonight. Psalms 21 and 22 tomorrow night, assuming I plan on streaming. 19 and 20, then 21 and 22, and then we'll open up Monday with Psalm 23, which is a great one. It's a great one. One with one of the most widely recognizable Bible passages in the Bible, period. So, welcome Matt Felty, welcome Alex Moore, and welcome Brenda to the chat. Thank you guys for stopping in, and we are going to. Why is this thing being so? Yeah, Satan's trying to get me to curse on stream because I can't get this component out. I'm not going to do it though, guys. All right. So, putting down the distraction. So that's what we're talking about. Start off with Psalm 19. Let me pull it up for us to read. As a reminder, I use Bible Gateway. I've had problems with their app recently. I had to just uninstall it and then reinstall it. But again, I love how open, accessible, and easy it is to navigate their website. Their apps not as good. They got a lot of ads on there, which is weird. I guess they got to pay. I guess they got to pay their people somehow. But I guess there's ads on there. But we're in. That's what we use. That's what I use. Great translations. We're in the New International Version for this. We tried some other ones. We just kind of found as a group here that the New International just flows better in Psalms. It's just better worded for what we're discussing. So we're going to start with Psalm 19 for the director of music, a Psalm of David. Many of these have been. That's just how many of these have been. Psalm 19. The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day, they pour forth speech. Night after night, they reveal knowledge. They have no speech. They use no words. No sound is heard from them. Yet their voice goes out into all the earth, their words to the ends of the world. In the heavens, God has pitched a tent for the sun. It is like a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, like a champion rejoicing to run his course. It rises as one end of the heavens and makes its circuit to the other. Nothing is deprived of its warmth. Global warming. The law of the Lord is perfect, refreshing the soul. The statutes of the Lord are trustworthy, making wise the simple. The precepts of the Lord are right, giving joy to the heart. The commands of the Lord are radiant, giving light to the eyes. The fear of the Lord is pure, enduring forever. The decrees of the Lord are firm, and all of them are righteous. They are more precious than gold, than much pure gold. They are sweeter than honey from the honeycomb. By them your servant is warned. In keeping them there is great reward. But who can discern their own errors? Forgive my hidden faults. Keep your servant also from willful sins. May they not rule over me. Then I will be blameless, innocent of great transgression. May these words of my mouth and this meditation of my heart be pleasing in your sight, Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Normally I start at the beginning, but did want to point out something I noticed at the very end. Use the words redeemer, which is really, if I recall correctly, more of a New Testament phrase, New Testament term. Maybe David was aware of something, right, guys? This is a good psalm coming off of Job, to read coming off of Job, because what do we do when Job is, kind of confused about his state and why he is there, and God finally decides it's appropriate to answer him. He says, "Where were you? Were you there when I did all these things?" We've talked about this before as well. Some of the best evidence for God. A lot of people want to see evidence. A lot of skeptics out there. A lot of people who don't want to go on faith. It's some of the best evidence for God. I don't know about the city, but if you live in the counties or the suburbs, maybe even far enough out in the suburbs, go outside, look at nature. And that's a lot of what kind of David's talking about. The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. Something as simple as looking up and seeing the heavens, right? Observing the sky and the clouds. My son's learning about the different clouds in school. I'm helping him out. In fact, he had a test today. How'd you do on that test? Yeah, we'll find out when you get your test back how well you did on it. Anyway, go out and did she already grade it? You got an A? Awesome. She said it was going to be hard. Go out and look at it. Observe nature. It's raining out here right now. Look at a thunderstorm or clear sky at night. You see the stars. A sunny day. Any of those things. It can make you feel very small, but it also makes you kind of wonder when you look at it. This is all supposed to be some casual accident. This is a byproduct of something else. That's what the Neil deGrasse Tysons out there, the scientific atheists, the guys who know more than us, that look down on our faith and think that we're dumb. You look out there and you say, we have a lot of trees, a lot of forests out there. Just observe nature and how complex and beautiful it is. Even when it's deadly, or look, nature's rough, right? Life is hard. Nature's no different. In fact, nature might be more brutal. Even when it's brutal, there's beauty in the complexity of how the whole system works together. You're telling me that's an accident? It's easy to observe. And David's kind of doing that here. Like, I don't think he's necessarily making a case for God, but he's just, because he's kind of taking it as he exists, right? God is real. He's not dealing with, I don't think he's he's writing this for non-believers. I think he's writing it just as I'm in awe of what you've created, to the point where all you need to do, even the sky, is proof of your glory. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day, they pour forth speech. Night after night, they reveal knowledge. And they have no speech. They use no words. No sound is heard from them. Maybe they don't have thunderstorms out there in Israel. I don't know. Yet their voice goes out into all the earth, and their words to the ends of the world. And look, this system that God has put into place is so awe-inspiring that it has allowed people to fall into the trap. More ancient peoples, not these days, but fall into the trap of thinking there's a sun god, or there's a god of the clouds, or there's a god of predators, or god of the plains, or whatever. Because there's so much majesty in it. It's divinely created. We're all divinely created, but people see that and they just assume that it must mean that there's a specific God in charge of things. They limit God to the point where there has to be more than one. And I think that he does a great job just poetically going through that. Brenda said David spoke prophetic and didn't know it. There's a lot of foreshadowing. There's a lot of foreshadowing in the Old Testament of the New Testament. That's why I get a little irritated when we don't focus so much on obviously the main focus, I think, in church for sermons should be the gospel, right? Because it is Jesus. He's God made flesh, kind of settling the debate for us, kind of saying, look, the answers are right in front of you. It's right in the word of God. It's right in the words of his prophets. It's here what I'm telling you right now, right? I'm not here to overturn the law, but to fulfill it. But we shouldn't ignore, and a lot of sermons are also very much in line with Paul's letters. Obviously, very important. They really establish the framework for a lot of what we believe as Christians now. But all that framework is set on the foundation of the Old Testament. And why is the Old Testament so important? Because it helps, does a lot of things, but one of the things I think is very important, it helps basically say, look, Jesus didn't show up one day without anybody knowing he was coming. There was a lot of, hey, something big's going to happen. You need to be aware of it happening in there. So, yeah. And like I said, some of it they know of, some of it they don't, but it's cool. Is he learning about them seeding the sky? No, I don't think they'll teach that, Brenda. There's just cumulonimbus and cirrus clouds and stratus clouds, and what the different weather, what kind of, do they mean precipitation? When do they normally show up? That kind of stuff. What do they look like? Some are pick and puffy. Some are light, wispy and feathery, etc. I help them study. I run the study guide, and good. He had a big test, and he knocked it out the park. It sounds like, which is good. So after that beginning part, David continues, the law of the Lord is perfect, refreshing the soul. The statutes of the Lord are trustworthy, making wise the simple. The precepts of the Lord are right, giving joy to the heart. The commands of the Lord are radiant, giving light to the eyes. Fear of the Lord is pure, enduring forever. The decrees of the Lord are firm, and all of them are righteous. It's amazing when you think, because a lot of people want to go, oh, you believe in what they say in the Old Testament? Yeah, I do, actually. I can distinguish easily by reading through what is practice and what is command. There is the biggest one of the biggest elephants in the room is slavery in the Bible. Very sensitive, especially in America. Very sensitive topic. Slavery exists, and the and one of the things I think that we need to understand as Christians is we are subservient to God. We are servants to him. We are supposed to be his servants. That's the expectation. We're trying to do exactly what he tells us. We don't exactly have, we do have freedom to leave, but there are consequences to those actions, very eternal consequences. Slavery is being practiced at this time. And God doesn't go out and say, you can't have slaves. What he does say is, if you have slaves, you have a responsibility to treat them as people, to treat them with respect. You are responsible for their well-being, and you're expected to keep that well-being in line with what is right. Because we can't think of, especially in America, we can't think of the idea of somebody willingly going into slavery, but it happened, right? You had indentured servitude, you had people captured in battle who were just enslaved, you had debtors, all sorts of stuff. But no matter how you came into, um, no matter how you came into being a slave owner, you need to treat that person, like one of God's own, because that's what they are. And as a servant, you were expected to honor the terms. God doesn't say you have to have slaves. He said no. It's a very different mindset back then of what was slavery, and what we saw in my home state of Virginia, and how they were treated. And I'm less concerned about the lack of. It's okay, Dresden. Don't ever have to apologize to me for missing an episode. As it was the just dehumanization of what happened oftentimes with slavery. People taking advantage of a situation to do harm to their fellow man. We talk about the 10 Commandments. We talk about a lot of the laws. Of the Old Testament on how to behave yourself. You'd be surprised if you we shouldn't be surprised, but we would be surprised at how much more wholesome life is when we follow those. The law of the Lord is perfect. Full stop. Statutes of the Lord are trustworthy. Precepts of the Lord are right. Commands of the Lord are radiant. Fear of the Lord is pure. Decrees of the Lord are firm. And what do we say? Refreshing, wise, joy, light, enduring, and righteous. Those are the adjectives used to describe those afterwards. It seems like when you read Leviticus and Deuteronomy, when you read Exodus, that there are a ton of rules, but really there's not. There's really not. Hope your sister's doing well, Matt. Hope you're doing well. And David goes from being very poetic at the beginning in the first part of it to this middle part where he's kind of blunt. He's a little flowery. He's refreshing the soul, making wise the simple. But he's very blunt. Law is perfect. Statutes trustworthy. Commands are radiant. They're very straightforward. They don't. I guess he doesn't think that they need all the dressing up that maybe describing the works of God, as far as the physical works of God deserve. And then he goes on to describe them further. More precious than gold, sweeter than honey. Keeping them as there's great reward. Right? They're more precious than gold is because they're guidelines to tell us how to navigate this world that God has created. God's created this system, right? We were just talking. David's just talking about it at the beginning of this psalm, right? Just look, just take in the magnificence and the magnitude of the creation of the earth and the solar and space, sun and the moon and all that stuff, stars. God orchestrated all of that. He created all of that. And he gave us these rules. He gave us life. He put us here. He gave us these rules on how we are supposed to conduct ourselves to be in harmony with what God has created. And so what those laws are, statutes, precepts, commands, whatever you want to call them, your respect for the God is more precious than gold. Gold's not going to give you wisdom. Gold's not going to save your soul. Gold can buy things. That's it. Means to an end. What the law, God's law, is the key to living life. And it's not just what the law says, but it's the spirit behind the law, what it means, what it's trying to get across. Not just that theft is wrong, that murder is wrong, that rape is wrong. But what it does to our community, what it does to our fellow man and to ourselves, what it does to our souls, individually and collectively. Who can you discern their own errors? Forgive my hidden faults. Keep your servant also from willful sins. Keep an eye out. Watch over me, Lord, for the things that I do that I'm not sure about, things that I do that are unknown, but also the things that I do willfully. Uriah the Hittite, David. And then he closes it with, Lord, my rock and my redeemer. This is a good one. This is one of the, this might be my favorite psalm that we've read so far since the first psalm, Psalm 1, kind of just opening up the book of Psalms. This one's awesome because it's like kind of explaining the roots of the faith. I like this. This is a good one. They're all good, right? This is out of the good. This one's gooder. It's mo better. All right, let's move on to the next one. For the director of music, a psalm of David. May the Lord answer you when you are in distress. May the name of God. Sorry, let me start off. I read that. May the Lord answer you when you are in distress. May the name of the God of Jacob protect you. May he send you help from the sanctuary and grant you support from Zion. May he remember all your sacrifices and accept your burnt offerings. May he give you the desire of your heart and make all your plans succeed. May we shout for joy over your victory and lift up our banners in the name of our God. May the Lord grant all of your requests. Now, this I know. The Lord gives victory to his anointed, answers him from his heavenly sanctuary with the victorious power of his right hand. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. They are brought to their knees and fall, but we rise up and stand firm. Lord, give victory to the King. Answer us when we call. Different tone to, or different aspect on this prayer, right? We are he's praying for somebody. When you're in trouble, may God be there for you. May he give you help. May he absolve you of your sins by remembering the sacrifices you have made, burnt offerings. Remember, this is pre crucifixion. May he give you the desire. May all your dreams come true. The Lord will give you victory to his anointed. And here's really the key, I think, in this one. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. Again, with the physical things. What's going to get is my cavalry going to give me victory in this battle? I mean, it's nice to have. Look, I went to Fort Knox. I went to the cavalry capital back when I went. It was the cavalry capital. Cavalry is good to have. But what everybody seems to miss is that it's nice to have those things. And in a vacuum, it gives you an advantage. But a fleeting particle of God tips the scales so far in your own favor. It doesn't matter what the other side has. It doesn't matter. They can have all the chariots. They can have all the iron armor. You have missiles. You have bullets. They didn't have that then. You can have all the military power they want. God waste that. God could lay that to waste with a thought, on a whim. Trust in God. Horses come up lame. Spears break. Shields splintered. Everything in this world can be broken or fail you. God does not. God keeps his promises. And we know that. And every cross you see should be a reminder to you of that. Lord, give victory to the King. Answer us when we call. It's good. It's very good. All right, folks. That's going to wrap up our episode for tonight. It's been wonderful. You guys are an awesome audience. Brenda, thank you for joining us. Specifically, I know you've been here before, but I hadn't seen you in a couple of episodes. But I'm glad to have a new regular here in the chat. Matt Felty, Dresden, Alex Moore. Alex, I'll see you later on the other stream that we hang out with. I'll see you in Blaine's stream. Again, guys, this is a time of togetherness, but maybe it's stressful for you guys. Trust in God. Come down and what's going on, NM? Trust in God. Give your troubles over to him. You do right by you. You do right by what God expects of you, not what the people around you expect. You're not alone. And you're not unwanted. All right. With that said, like I said, Matt Felty, now NM, Dresden, Brenda, Alex, thank you guys for being part of the chat. Thank you guys for participating. I appreciate everything you do. You guys are, again, you make the show better. You make it better with your comments. And I like seeing the hellos go back and forth for people who aren't on stream. But again, thank you. Now he's dancing. He's not gonna be dancing when I tell him it's bedtime once I hit end stream. Gosh, he's so much like me. But thank you guys. To everybody who's been watching the show and unable to comment or just don't feel like commenting, that's fine. I encourage you to do so. Obviously, I can't make you. I don't want you to comment if you don't want to. But I am happy that I'm creating something that you just enjoy tuning into periodically. To everybody who's catching the stream on replay, thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you live sometime. Like the show, click the like button if you like the show. Subscribe if you haven't already. Support the show. Those ways, the best way to support the show is to share it with other people that you think might enjoy this. Okay. Like I said, you guys be safe. If I don't talk to you, or if I don't catch you guys before Thanksgiving, have a happy Thanksgiving. Have a safe Thanksgiving. But I should be here tomorrow night. Same bat time, same bat channel. You guys have a very good night, and God bless.